Howdy folks, welcome back to 59 Mile Arc. We are hanging out at Grandpa Bob's barn today, and we're going to fly a Louisiana flight. This is the 19th leg of our 50 state series, so we're doing Louisiana today. And if you're wondering, if you happen to know the order of the states, and you're wondering, you're thinking Louisiana is the 18th state in the alphabet, not the 19th, alphabetically I mean. It's because we did Pennsylvania already. We jumped ahead because we had requests for that one. So I'm going to say right off the bat, if you have a request for your state, put in the comments below. The rule is that you take off and land in the same state, and then we can jump ahead and not have to go alphabetical for your state if you're waiting. If you live in Wyoming and there's somewhere you want to fly and you don't want to wait till the end of the alphabet, put your request below and we'll fly it ahead of the others. Keep in mind though too that I'm recording way ahead of time, so that I can get my Minecraft videos in, which is not going to be on the channel, for something else, another project. Just letting you know in case you request something and it doesn't show up for a month. I'm about a month ahead scheduling these videos to upload, which is some behind the scenes stuff. I know some of you like behind the scenes stuff. So anyway, enough behind the scenes, enough introduction. Here we are, Louisiana. We, though, if you don't know where we are, that's the Gulf of Mexico. We are as far south of Louisiana as we can get, and I figure we'll get up in the air and we'll fly up to the southeast, and we will check out the Mississippi River Delta, where the Mississippi ends. I have been to the start of the Mississippi in Itasca, Minnesota many times because it's about a 4-hour drive from where I live. So I've been to the start of the Mississippi in the simulator as well as real life. But today we're going to do the end of the Mississippi in the simulator. I have not been there in real life. So we're going to fly out. It's also the first time in the series we are going to do an out and back flight. We're leaving South Lafourche, Leonard, Miller Jr. Airport. I don't think it's Lafourceh. It must be Lafourche. French, right? Because this is, French settlement. South Lafourche, Leonard, Miller Airport, Jr. Airport. That's where we're starting. The call is Kilo Golf Alpha Oscar. I think. Oh, it was Oscar. I haven't used that one in a long time. That's where we're starting. We're going to fly out and come back to this airport. I have 2 GPS approach possibilities depending on the weather. However, because real life weather is not favorable for flying, in this flight we actually did turn weather off. I did turn weather off for this because I want it to be clear and I don't want like insane winds like the last couple flights. So I'll just pick a GPS approach. If you hop inside, have not read how to do this G1000 yet. I apologize. So we're just going to wing it the best we can. And I still need to set aside time specifically for learning the G1000. I'm sure it's not complicated. I'm sure the concepts are all the same as any other glass cockpit. It's just where are the buttons, so instead of struggling to find a button, I'll just know where they are in a hurry. That's what I'm aiming for. But not today. So we're going to do it the best we can. I'll just edit out the pauses when I have to look around and find things. So I think that is more than a long enough introduction. I covered way more topics than I was planning on, so I think it's time to get going. Now I'm really confused about this livery because the livery I chose is the blue one. And this doesn't look very blue, does it? The inside is blue, the outside is white. So I'm not sure what happened there. But in case you're wondering why we have such a boring airplane today, it's because the livery didn't load right. This is the Aerobask freeware Robin, by the way. They call it the Robin DR401 CDI 155, but the real life name is a Robin 401 155 CDI. The 155 and the CDI refer to options, I believe. I did finally look that up. Don't know more than that. That's all I know. I just know that I love this plane and it's freeware. And if you haven't gotten free stuff from the org forums, please do support Aerobask. This is their thanks to the community, the X-Plane 11 community. Otherwise, that's it. Our flight time is probably be longer than the introduction time. That does happen sometimes. So anyway, I do have my checklist printed out, and I have some GPS approaches printed out. Well, I'm going to try to use the built-in ones. So let's see. When you start the airplane, it looks like this. I guess a month or more, month and a half back for you as you watch this, I did a complete cold and dark tutorial with all the checklists, every button, but not the G1000. So go watch that if you like. I recorded that a few days ago, real time, but for you it was like a month ago. Isn't that interesting how YouTube works? It's not as live as you would think sometimes. I've watched videos that I found out were started months before they upload. Anyway, here we go. We're going to hop inside and close this canopy. I have a preset for that. right there. Oh, and by the way, in case you're not familiar with this aircraft, all the ambient sounds, that's part of the aircraft. That's not a pack I have, but it will get quiet. There you go. I know you can hear the freeway, and there's no freeway here, but just got to pretend. All right, parking brake. Confirm the parking brake is set. Where is it on here? There it is, down there. Battery turn on. Is it this preset or this preset? It's this preset. Turn on the Ooh, long delay there. Turn on the battery. Turn on the alternator. Close, please. Thank you. ELT to arm and then test. Where's my preset for that? There it is. On for a second. And then turn it off to arm. Strobe and flash. What's this one? Nav is later. I actually looked up when you use strobe, beacon, and nav. Strobe and beacon means you're about to start your engine. Nav, some people say is only at night because that's your red and white lights like a boat. Other people say just before you take off rather than on the runway. And also your company rule tells you to do things differently too. So just flash right now. I finally got that right. Check the fuel level. I think it's there. Where's your fuel level? I can't remember. See, that's the type of thing I got to look up. I don't see it. I don't know. We're going to go in here and do it this way. The old school way. 4-hour flight time? Yeah, we don't need that. We probably don't even need an hour. I'm hoping this flight is more than an hour, but let's do hour 49 just in case I'm screwed up. While we're behind, I want to depart at 8:05, but I spent too much time talking. All right, there we go. Alt air close. It is. Is that red knobby right there? Auxiliary tank closed. It is. That's right there. Fuel switch on. Fuel switch on. Oh, right here. Oh, come on. Where's the other one? There we go. Yep. Okay. Fuel switch is on. Fuel pump on. Throttles to idle. I gotta bring all this up and bring it all back slowly so my yoke doesn't go nuts. Engine master on. Where are you? That's avionics. Engine master is this one. All right. It's preheating, so we have to wait for that light to go off. And that seemed quick because I edited it out. Oh, there's my fuel level right there in front of my face. Really? This must be a gigantic tank. If half was 4 hours. Wow. Okay. Whatever. All right. Now we can do the master. No, we did that. Now you can just start the engine. Do I click on? Oh, there you just click. Okay. There we go. RPM 890. Yes, it is. Top of the screen. Make sure Alt and FADEC lights are off. Those are here. Okay. Those went off. Pitot heat now. Is that over there? Way over there. Pitot heat. There it is. Fuel pump off. Avionics come on. Flight plan in the GPS. I want to have a flight plan in the GPS, but because we're at the airport, I'm not going to do it till later. Whoa, pop out. I did not want that to pop out. Oh, is all this pop out? No. Okay, so, oh, you can't zoom that in and out? I'm sure you can. I just have to find it. I'm sure there's a button on here to pop that out. Somewhere. Not pop it out, to zoom it in. Right here. No? Yes? Ah, no, that's pan. Anyway, that's where we're going. We're going right here. To where the Mississippi comes out. But how do I... Oh, okay, that centers you. How do I... Range side to side, yes. There we go. There we go. And then the arrows moving up and down. Okay, so we are going... Well, this is nice. We're going from here out to here and back, pretty much. I was going to go up to New Orleans, but I don't know. That's kind of predictable. So I was going to go out and back. That's the plan. Oh, that airport wasn't on the plans I was using. Interesting. Okay. That wasn't. That was... All right, so enough about that. Zoom that in a little bit. How do I get the GPS approach in here? Procedure, maybe? Eventually, okay. Flight plan. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll figure it out later. I'm not going to waste your time right now, but that's when I would normally do my flight plan. We're pretty much VFR anyway. That's the point. I just wanted to put a GPS approach in there because I like GPS approaches. Radios, not using them. Barometer and altimeter, that I actually know how to do. It's going to be 2992 because I turned weather off, but let's just get in the habit of checking. We're going to go here and wind calm 2992. Of course. Zoom in. Is that all I have that zoomed in? I'm going to have to zoom that in farther later. I'm going to have to redo some of these presets. Anyway, barometer is this one on the outside. 29er. I found out by mistake the other day. 2902. There we go. All right, taxi lights. So what I've been doing is I do the first one for taxi, then I add the second one for landing. Nav can come on now. I have in here, although probably would be later. Flaps down 1 notch. There we go. And begin our taxi. So we are going. Where are we going? We're going to the right because that was the closest way to get rolling. So here we go. Parking brake is off. We're actually on the grass because we're in Farmer Bob's field here, or Uncle, Grandpa, Farmer Bob. And we're having a really hard time negotiating the ground because the simulator knows it's off-ground or off-road. So it's a little more difficult to get going sometimes. But once we get to that taxiway, it'll go faster. So we're just going to head off to the right. I don't think I need to drag you with me across the field. Or I guess this would be kind of swampy, maybe. I don't know what this would be. And I have full right rudder, and now we're working. Is my yoke all crazy again? Am I having yoke problems? No, I'm not. Anyway, alrighty. I am having a very difficult time getting out, so I will catch you at the end of that runway. Alright, let's just whip around here. Let's see, do we want to go out and back taxi? I don't really feel like going out and back taxiing. Is this going to be enough runway if we head out this way? Sure, let's go for it. There should be enough runway for us. We don't need much runway. Alright, yep, a little bit of dirt left because somebody didn't connect the taxiway when they modeled this 2D. At least it looks like it might have been 2D. Let's stop right here. And set the parking brake. And what is next? FADEC check. Oh yeah, that's when you come down here and you hold this and it's to run up. And the computer is just doing its thing. You can read all about it if you want to. We'll just let go right now. Landing lights on, so I add them to taxi lights. Fuel pump on. Trim set. Where's the trim on this? I can't remember. Don't remember. We'll worry about it later. There it is. Trim up there. Okay. Trim is up there. No, now we take off already. It says rotate at 61 knots. Flaps up. Step on the brakes to stop the wheels. Climb at 68, 78, 72, and 75, depending on above ground level. We're not worried about all those details. We're just going to rotate around 61 and climb. And climb. All right, here we go. Parking brake. We're going to hold the brake because I'm cutting our runway in half. And here we go. It should be good. Ooh, lots of right rudder for some reason. Maybe I need to recalibrate a few things if it's always going left on me. Because it doesn't seem to center. Alright, so there's almost 60. And 61. And oh, very smooth. Very less twitchy than last time. Good, I'm getting the hang of this thing. Flaps in. Step on the brakes to stop the wheels from spinning. It's fixed gear, of course. This is considered a trainer aircraft, I guess. Oops, you can't really see much. Can we move up a little bit and reset that as a preset? Alright, there we go. Preset, reset. Let's hop outside right away and pull back on that yoke so that we don't come down. And here we go. Gulf of Mexico, back to the right a little bit. And the marsh area, swamp area, delta area. I think this would be called the bayou. I actually did research on bayou before I started, and I didn't get anything like conclusive. A couple lakes, a few specific lake names. Not there, because that's behind us. The lake names would be up in this area. Alrighty, let's get under control because this isn't going so well from the outside. Let's head towards the southeast, or we can even look on that map right there. I think our airplane's going to show up on the map. I would think so. I got to figure that out. We're just going to head across the open water, although it's not that open. We should see some land splotted around. Then we'll head out to the Mississippi. We'll follow the Mississippi to its ending. I don't want to say it's starting because it travels in one direction, north to south. So this would be where it ends. I guess the locals might say it starts here, but really this is where it ends. And it mixes with the salt water, and you get the brackish water, which I know all about from fish keeping hobby. Otherwise, I'm going to try to figure out a few things on this G1000, and I'll give you some sightseeing on the way to the river, and I'll catch you in a couple minutes. So I don't think this has autopilot. If it does have autopilot, I saw no mention of it in the documentation whatsoever. Or if it does have autopilot, then you have to use this to get to it. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So if it does have autopilot and I'm wrong, forgive me. But I'm pretty sure this doesn't have autopilot. At least I cannot find it anywhere in the X1000, and it's obviously not like around the cabin or anything. Although I do know enough that it would be part of the X1000 if it did have autopilot. I just don't see anything that resembles autopilot anywhere. Otherwise, you'd think it'd be like an autopilot button here, like a soft key or something. Like I said, it could be wrong. I don't know, so don't take my word for it either way. My whole point, though, saying that is I'm using my trim to level off. I hit trim a few too many times, so we're sinking a little bit, but it'll come back up. Because a well-trimmed aircraft such as this on a clear day without wind, if you trim it right and you know what you're doing, you should be able to feel as though you have autopilot. And that's certainly real life too. Alrighty, so what I want to talk about, I wanted to see where we are on the map, and we're totally off course because I was sightseeing, so we're actually adding a lot of time to our trip right now because I see my airplane heading the wrong way. That's the problem when I sightsee is it's hard to keep it coordinate your coordination and everything, so you end up going somewhere else. So let's sharply turn here to get back on task. Again, if I did have autopilot, or if I could find it, then I would set up a flight plan, engage autopilot, and then that is how we would be able to do our sightseeing outside of the airplane. Although I just want to jump in there and say that. So my plan is to get this thing trimmed so I don't have to touch it. That's, pitch and roll. Get it all trimmed out so I don't have to touch anything. We're pretty close. We're pretty close already. So we'll be about 112, 113 knots, it looks like, which is good. It's going to be a little bit longer flight than I thought, which happens sometimes. Otherwise, that is all for me to say. It's a lot more sightseeing. I'll catch you in a moment. So just in case it isn't obvious already, that is the Mississippi River in front of us. And off to the right it disappears into the Gulf of Mexico. So that's Gulf of Mexico on both sides of us here. Now this map shows an airport, 7 Lima Alpha 1. When I looked at a real map beforehand, there were all kinds of water airports or waterways, or why am I blanking on the name of a water runway? Anyway, a whole bunch of water runways all over this area, which we can't do because we don't have floats. But I want to see what this airport is, because if this is a regular strip in the simulator, then we are going to land on it. We might even land in that area anyway, because when I was previewing, I kind of saw a I'm gonna hop outside. I kind of saw a barn down here. It's just flying all the way back is going to take a really long time. But I think I think this is going to be a waterway as well. Oh, there's that big field up there. Maybe we'll land in that big field. Not sure. We'll see what happens when we cross over. We're almost about to cross over it. Also, if you want to know, we are at about 3,000 feet. I've been trying to hold that as close as I can while sightseeing. We're pretty much trimmed until we start drifting to the side. So yeah, we're about to cross over the 7 Lima Alpha 1. I really want to see what it is. So it's off our nose, it says. Right about down there. I don't see anything that resembles an airport, but there are some long flat areas of grass, like right here. So maybe we'll land there on the way back. So it might not be an out and back type flight after all. We might land somewhere here. Maybe that is a grass strip in the sim. I can't really see without zooming in funny. Let's wait till we're over it, then we'll tip our wing. There's a grass strip there. Okay, so in real life, well, based on the maps I saw in real life, that doesn't exist. That is a waterway. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of a water landing strip. Anyway, this place is riddled with a whole bunch of private water airports. But since that's a real grass strip in the sim, we'll take advantage of it and fly there on the way back, because it's a long flight already. It's been a 25 or 26 minute flight, and we're not even halfway done. So that's the plan, to come back to that one. I'll have to look up what that airport is called, obviously. So when I edit the video in the bottom third, you would have seen that already. If you go back to the end of the video, you'll see what it's called, because I don't at the moment. Anyway, we're going to head down. We're going to follow the Mississippi now, because it's right off our left wing, as it should be. This is the Mississippi. I do have 2 stories for you. One that I was thinking about maybe not telling, but I will, and then a second one that just popped into my mind. So let's do a few more views of sightseeing. I'm going to go over a few things to make sure I'm not forgetting anything, and then we'll have some story time. Alright, so story time. So, at the beginning of Mississippi River, Lake Itasca in Minnesota, you can walk across the beginning of the Mississippi. They call it the headwaters, although it's not really the beginning of the Mississippi. They moved it over. They moved the beginning of the Mississippi over so that people could get to a place where they could actually walk over the beginning of the river. I'm not joking about that. And it flows north there, up to Bemidji, then it swings around and starts heading south. My story there, though, Lake Itasca is a park, of course, a big one, and I was swimming in the lake with my oldest son when he was a baby, and I was a lot braver back then. I was much, much younger back then, and we were swimming in the beach area, and it was kind of fun, but he wanted to go deeper. Well, he couldn't tell me that because he was evil enough to talk, but I could tell he wanted to go deeper, so we went deeper and deeper and deeper. There's a roped off area, but I wasn't going to cross the ropes. But before the roped off area is an insane drop off, which I didn't know. So we're walking out. I'm 6'3". The water was just above my waist, maybe. And all of a sudden, I stepped off this drop off that was before the roped off area, and we went under. And we came back up, and he was laughing. Thankfully, he was laughing. But I was paranoid because if you have no experience swimming, holding anything, it doesn't matter if it's an 8-pound baby, 20-pound baby, or a person. If you have no experience holding something in water, it's extremely difficult. So we went under the one time. I didn't at the time have experience carrying anything in my arms swimming, so I was struggling very much. I held his head above water. I was having a very difficult time, and the harder I would work, I was only like maybe 2 feet away from the drop off getting back to the shallow area. I was working so hard, I was going backwards, and I finally stretched my leg and reached the drop off and got back up. And I looked over, and this guy obviously was watching me, and he was power swimming over to me like a superstar swimmer. And he saw I was okay, and he stopped, and I waved and said thank you. But he watched me for like the next half an hour. Because what I did wasn't very smart, obviously, to have a baby in your arms and then you go in deep water. However, I would have expected the drop off to be after the roped off area. I was still a good 30 feet from the roped off area, so I wasn't anywhere near it. But I would have expected the roped off area to be the drop off, but the drop off was much sooner than that. And made for a scary moment. I was very, very, very scared for a long time after that. But I overcame it, and now with all the experience, I can swim in any depth of water, carrying children, even adults, kids on my back. There's a local pool that goes 10 feet deep, so I can't touch the bottom. But I can carry a child on my back. I can carry my 9-year-old on my back and my 7-year-old on my front. Actually, the kid's 10 now. My 10-year-old on my back, my 7-year-old on my front, and swim and tread water in 10-foot deep water. So I've learned how to do it. But if you've never done it before, it is absolutely impossible and petrifying. I had a similar experience swimming in the lake, and they're like, take the baby with you, but we had a life jacket on them, and even with the life jacket, I couldn't stay myself above water. Again, that was before I had experience. Now it's no problem. But so that was a scary moment, but we overcame it, and I've been in the water with them. I've been in the water just fine. I've been swimming since I was a baby myself, but that was a pretty interesting moment. So that was the start of the Mississippi. That was about 7 or 8 years ago already. No, more than that. Oh my gosh, my son's 10. It was 9 years ago. Wow, time goes fast when you're a parent. It's true. Otherwise, the other story, which I'll tell in a moment, I just want to see where we are on the map. Oh gosh, we have a long ways to go before we reach the actual end of the Mississippi. You got the 3 main legs there. I feel like we're getting nowhere. How fast are we going? We're doing 109 knots. Does this have a ground speed on it? I don't know yet where to look. I don't know if it tells us ground speed or not. I'll figure it out. Yep, ground speed, 115 knots, right top center there. Well, anyway, moving along. Man, this is a really long flight. Oh my gosh, this is a long flight. Anyway, moving along here to my other story, which I already forgot what it was, because I'm distracted by electronics in the airplane. I remember my other story way, way back. So we're talking 13 plus 4, we're talking 17 or even 18, maybe even 19 years ago. I had a job where all I did was sit at a desk and tell people to stay out of the building, but it paid very, very well. And when I wasn't telling people to stay out of the building, I had some very high-end technology under my fingers that I was doing that no one could see. It just, sitting at the desk wasn't enough work. Neither was playing with the technology. So I had stuff going on. But when I would have downtime, what I did is I discovered a satellite website. Now this was before Google. I mean, this was, some of you, in fact, probably most of my audience might not have even been born. No, you're older than 19 years old. But anyway, this was before Google. This was before Google Maps, clearly. This was before Google Satellite, Google Earth. But I found a website. It was a national something website that had satellite images of most of the United States. They were outdated, and they were black and white, and they weren't very good resolution. But if you concentrated hard enough, you could figure out where you were. Well, what I did, I was bored one day. It was like a couple days before a holiday, so no technology to play with, nobody coming in the building to keep out. So what I decided to do is I found the start of the Mississippi in Lake Itasca and followed it, satellite image by satellite image by satellite image, all the way down to where we're headed now. It probably took me, I think it took me the entire week of downtime to click on satellite image, wait for it to load, look at it, click the image below it, wait for it to load, and look at it. It took me pretty much the whole week to get from the start of the Mississippi to the end of the Mississippi. In fact, I think when I got to where we are now, I didn't even do this last 30 or 40 miles to the end of the Delta. I think I just stopped right about here and just gave up. So that is, that's what technology used to be. You wanted to see a satellite image, you would have to find a website that had low resolution pictures that took forever to load, and then try to figure out where you were. Then if you were off by a tile, start all over again. But that's what life was. Now you just, go to Google Maps, find where you want, hit satellite, and it's instant. You can even do street view, obviously. None of this is new, of course. But that's what I had to do. So it's kind of nice to see this in Flight Simulator. It's faster actually going in this plane than it was loading those tiles. It's hard to believe, too, that New Orleans is back there, not too far from here. But you would never be able to tell, would you? Alright, so even though it looks like we might be entering the Gulf of Mexico, we're not quite there yet. If you look at the map, we have quite a ways to actually go. Let's see if I can do this range thing. There we go, then move it around. So I did discover if you push it to center you can't move around until you push it again. Push to pan, push to whatever. So there we go. So we still have quite a ways to go before we're actually out into the Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to try to make it this whole way. We'll see. Behind the scenes again, I actually am limited on time. I don't know if I have enough actual time to go all the way down here and come back, because my family will be home soon. They're at the community pool. The same pool I was talking about when I can carry them in deep water. But it's too hot for my health. If I were to go outside, I would literally have serious complications. So that's why I'm home while they're out. But I'm limited because they can only swim like fish for so long. So anyway, I hope you make it to the end of this thing. And I hope we make it back to that other airport. Oh my word, that's a long flight. Anyway, a little bit more sightseeing here. And I'll probably catch you when we turn around at that center arm. Alright, I'm jumping in from the outside for a moment just to point out that there are the legs of the Mississippi. One goes that direction to the southwest. One goes south. One goes to the south-southeast and over your screen, and then there's the fourth leg. Kind of, there it is. Right there, that heads to the east. The four main legs of the Mississippi. I'm not sure if they have names, I'm pretty sure they do. I guess you could call them arms. But we're almost at the end of the Mississippi. Gulf of Mexico right in front of us. We are so close. We're at least farther than I got when I looked at satellite images 19 years ago. But we're almost there, almost ready to turn around. And that is what the Mississippi Delta looks like at 4,000 feet above ground level and sea level. So we're about to turn around. Just getting a few more shots here before we make the big turnaround. There's the west-facing arm there. What's everybody doing back there? There's the east-facing arm over there, and the other one above that. Very cool. We've almost made it. We are almost 49 minutes into this flight, I think. We're about to turn around, but we're going to wait till we get to the very end of the Mississippi. We've come all this way. Let's not turn around too soon. Alright, we're about to reach the end of it based on our map. So let's prepare to make our turn to the right. And then we'll look at it from the backseat view here as soon as we're ready. I just want to make sure we're at the very end. And not just looks like we're at the end because of our perspective 4,000 feet up. Alright, there we go. Our nose is at the front. So here we go. Let's hop over, see if we can do this without any difficulty from the back seat here. Trying to fly from the back seat. And around we go. Alright, we made it. We made the turnaround. So now we're looking back north onto the Mississippi again. Let's see. We lost a lot of altitude during that turn because I was turning from the back seat, but that's okay. We'll stay a little bit lower. I want to stay about 3,000 feet now anyway. And our fuel is dangerously low, but our fuel light isn't on yet, so that must be okay. Otherwise, I don't think you need to do much sightseeing on the way back. It's going to be the same thing. I mean, I've been looking at this for almost an hour now. So I think we're just going to... I'm going to trim it so that I can step away. Well, I'm going to try. I'm turning, aren't I? I'm going to try to trim it so I can step away a minute. And get a few things done. Because it's going to be another 45 minutes probably before we get back to the airport. So what we're going to do is going all the way back to our main airport and flying for an entire hour. We're just going to try to fly back to the one that's not showing up again. Oh, it's hard to go straight when you're looking out here. So somewhere the airport was up here, but now it's gone. But we all saw it, right? We know there's an airport there. What if I center myself? Where did it go? Do I have to zoom in a little more to see that airport? No. There it is. Alright, hit this to pan. Pan up, please. Thank you. Straighten out. There you go. Alright, so 7 Lima Alpha 1. The LA obviously means Louisiana. So we're going to head that way. I'm going to try to level this thing off so I can just step away like I said. And as we get closer, I'll start coming down. Obviously, the airport's going to be at sea level, I would think. And I will catch you in a little bit. Alright, so like another 40 minutes later, some crazy thing. We're getting close up to the airport now. It's just around that bend, which means it's just over here. And I stepped away for a little bit, and fortunately I came back in time because we lost like 2,600 feet. Or no, 1,600 feet. They didn't crash, so that's good. So we're just going to come around this bend to try to find this airport, if I remember where it was. But we're going to start coming down now on purpose, not by mistake. And see how things go. So let's do a little bit of sightseeing, and I'll catch you as soon as we have to do something about this landing. Alright, that's what I get for sightseeing, because I think our runway is right there. And it is. There's a windsock. Alright, so my original plan was to fly along the Mississippi and turn left onto the runway, but then I realized our final would be less than a football field. So we're going to come in from out here. There's no wind or anything. Is that really a highway down there? It is. Now, when I looked at the map, I didn't see roads here. I guess I'm going to check again, because that is based on OSM data, so if there's a road there in the sim, it should be in real life, because that's where it gets that from. So I'm going to check the map. I mean, a bridge would make sense because of where we are, but I didn't realize there were roads down here. That's awesome. So anyway, I guess I feel kind of dumb now, because of course, if there's an airport and there's all these seaports, that's what I was looking for 20, 40, 100 minutes ago. Seaports. There's seaports all up and down here. Of course, there's roads a little bit, although I guess maybe the seaport is because there aren't roads. I don't know. Fuel pump on, landing lights on, first set of flaps. I have a landing checklist, but I forgot to check it because this came up too soon, so we're just going to do a whole bunch of flaps. Landing flaps down, nice and smooth, although it feels like a crosswind, but there isn't one. This car better watch out. And we're going to go just before that red line. We're going to touch down. There we go. Just in time. Here we go. One hand on the yoke, one hand on the throttle. Let's not touch down short. There we go. Now let's touch down. There we go. Nice. Brakes. And we are down nice and smooth. And flaps coming in. So anyway, landing checklist would have been get the altimeter and barometer, which there isn't one because we have weather turned off. Fuel pump and landing lights on, which we did. So I guess that was it. So, had it in my head. Anyway, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, stop the clock. What was that? Trying to take away. I have to take away my introduction. It was like 8 minutes. I don't know. Just shy of an hour and a half maybe. Give or take. I don't remember how long my introduction was. But anyway. Much longer flight than I was anticipating. But that's okay. Let's just hop over here. I got full right rudder and we're not turning right. So if I let go and do it again, then it works sometimes. Very strange. We did not run out of fuel. Although if you look at the fuel gauge, it is completely on the empty. So let's stop here. Let's hit the parking brake. Look at that. Almost out of fuel. Alright, shut down. Parking brake, yes. Taxi lights off. We didn't really have a taxi, so landing and taxi lights off. Nav lights and strobe. I really shouldn't turn that off yet because we're still running. I should probably flip that around, actually. Avionics can come off. And turn the key off. Still running. Wired still running. Stop running. This is from the fuel off then. There we go. Master engine switch off, like so. Alternator off. Like so. And battery off. There we go. I should make a few adjustments to this checklist though. Maybe put the strobe lights off after I shut the engine down because they're strobe lights. And I should have high tide in there as well. Oh wait, already. Whoops, I skipped some sections. There we go. Turn that off. Okay, that was in the checklist. I guess we got to turn that off to shut off the engine because the key didn't do anything. That's kind of funny. Anyway, I'll make those adjustments off camera. No need to talk about them anymore now. Let's hop outside. Welcome to the Mississippi River Delta. I guess there's some city stuff around here. I'm going to look at a map now and look for roads and cities. Like I said, I knew there are a ton of seaports. My impression was if you go from seaport to seaport, there aren't roads because you're using seaports. But apparently there's something down here, thanks to the sim. So I will look that up in real life, see what's down here, see what's going on. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're a subscriber, thank you for continuing support. If you found me by accident, please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. Where do you want me to fly in your state? I got some more flight planning to do, and I'll catch you on the next one.